You may think those are sounds from a third world country. Unfortunately, not. They're from your United States, our United States of America. Today, we're going to unravel everything that's going on right now in the United States of America. From teachers showing up to work drunk, to the Maui fires for the people outside the continental United States, and what's going on the ground. Who caused these fires? How did it happen? How did it start? We really don't know. We're also going to speak about the androids, how they're showing up to football stadiums and nobody batted an eye. You have content creators trying to convince people to do outlandish things and then crying when they're getting their photo taken at the precinct. We have a lot to uncover from your president, our president, and his son exchanging text messages. This is crazy. 20 shell companies, over 20 shell companies. But we're going to get all into that here at PeaCoat in the Morning, episode 57. Let's get started, folks.
Yep. PeaCoat Slim. PeaCoat Slim. PeaCoat Slim. Yep. All I do is win.
Imagine working a job that no one cares about until you can no longer do that particular job. What are we talking about here? We're talking about those superheroes in those classrooms who manage everyone's child emotions, physically, mentally, all that good stuff. Who turn these people, these little young people, into grown citizens of today. Hopefully, high functioning citizens of today. Now, these people are not given enough resources in order to get their jobs done. Oftentimes, they're given huge classrooms with kids and not enough supplies or assistance to manage said kids. What happens when the kids take over the classroom, or as they say, the inmates start running the asylum? As you can see right here, this teacher is in need of aid. Why is she in need of aid? Because the class is going crazy and she has lost attention to the child who is at most very frustrated. Look at her right here. She catches the chair. Everybody's been throwing chairs since Alabama, but now it has trickled down to our school system, our students. They think this is okay behavior. They think they can do this and just get away with it, get transferred to another school, and then do this again and again and again. At what point do we give these teachers aid? At what point do we show them that they are the true leaders of society? They should be well paid. They should be paid like athletes. I understand why athletes are paid more, because they're paid based off of those ticket sales. Ticket sales are good. They have enough money to pay the athletes the money in which they need. The only way teachers get paid are through taxes. Now, some would say, well, you're saying all this. Maybe you should raise the taxes so the teachers get paid more. Well, if that will assist the teachers getting paid more, I would agree to that. But unfortunately, when they raise the taxes around these parts, those tax monies never goes to where it's supposed to go when it has to do with something called the federal government or any of the governments. As they always say, those cell phones are tapped by the federal government. That's what they say. That's what they say. You know what else they say? A sip of wine can help you wind down so you're not whipping nobody's kid. Well, in this case, we have another teacher who was on the opposite end of the spectrum, where she was actually doing wrong. She showed up to work drunk, and somebody snitched on her. She smelled like wine or alcohol or whatever she was drinking out of that blue cup. They had her sit down. They pulled out the breathalyzer. They waved it on her. They asked her to take it. At first, she didn't want to. I think eventually she did. But what happens when you get caught up like this? You wind up losing your job. You wind up losing your livelihood. Is it worth it? Is that extra sip in school, in work, at class, is that extra sip worth it? Should you just do it outside of work before you come in? And did you think about the smell that was going to be still on you that would make them even want to check it? Sometimes we got to think, people. Make sure you bring your smell goods. Got to bring your smell goods, because if you don't, you're going to wind up like this teacher. Yeah, she had it. There's a lot of Gen X or Gen Z's teachers who have had it. They've had it. They're not getting the assistance they need at home to make sure that the child comes to work or school prepared so they can be successful people in this society. These people are like school nurses. They're like male people. These are people, honorable people, who work their butt off in school or work their butt off remembering things like a male person. Work their butt off. And it all came from what? Being organized. And those organization skills, they start where? In the classroom. In the classroom. Now, the real question is, how many of us, since the poker pills ended, have been really helping out and assisting these teachers so they don't wind up like this particular one? It's possibly going to jail. She possibly will never be able to teach again. Not even do a daycare, never be trusted with children again. Possibly. All over a mistake. In the land of opportunity. The land of the comeback story. They love the comeback story. She'll probably get another job in another district, but still, we need to watch out for the mental health of our teachers out there too, because they're dealing with a lot. They got to worry about kids coming to the school doing you know what, and we all know, and I'm going to end it right there. Hey friends, are you forgetting the most important thing? Who you represent. Who are you there to support? Who is in your corner? Are you there for the God or are you there for the devil? Because if you're there for God, make sure you download Bible Gateway. This is somewhere where you can get the Bible on the move, where you can either read it yourself or highlight passages, or you can do my favorite thing, which is listen to the audio book of the Bible. Catch any verse any time of the day at Bible Gateway. Download the app. Have you ever heard of climate control? Maybe carbon emissions. Maybe taking your car to get an emissions test. What are they really trying to do? What are they really trying to limit? And how much of an impact will it make if us in the United States limited what we were putting out there when it came to fossil fuel and stuff like that? I can tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, if the United States switched over and stopped using fossil fuel, I can say this without a shadow of a doubt, it would not make an impact. That's right, would not make an impact on the world to national stage. Why? Because we're not the biggest carbon users. That's right. I don't think we are. I really don't think we are. As long as those factories are going in China, as long as that type of stuff is still happening, then we can't change nothing. We can't change nothing. And we should not be trying to force other people to change. Something that we should not be trying to do. They tell you to do that in relationships, but yet the United States and us, or whoever's in charge of us at the time, they decide that they're going to try to do that around the world, to put their little footprint around the world. I guess to have access to everything around the world for us here, citizens of the U.S. Now, did we sign up for this contract? Did we agree for these people to go over there and be doing what they be doing? No. We didn't agree for them to do it. We ain't signed off. We be acting shocked and surprised when we find out that it happened. Yeah, we shocked and surprised. For some of us, the country hasn't treated us the best. So we haven't cared. We haven't cared enough to really do the research and find out. We've been trying to get our foothold in, get to our next level, uplift our next neighbor so that they can be in a situation where they ain't living paycheck to paycheck, or at least they are living paycheck to paycheck, because some of us ain't even living to that. But that's besides the point. Let's get to it. Climate control, people, climate control. I've done multiple videos on the Canada fires and the California fires, how I think those started, what happened, and all that. Y'all can go see that on my other videos on the YouTube. You know what I mean? They've been trying to shadow ban those videos, so I had to go to here, the Patreon. I had to come to the Patreon. Make sure y'all go there. PeaCoat Slim. You know what I mean? What is it? Patreon.com/Maryland Melatonin. Search me. Look it up. But back to the story at hand. How are these fires starting? How come there was no real warning? Oh, I'm sorry. How come the water and everything was shut off beforehand? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an outsider. Let me let her tell it.
We busted our ass, and this is what we get. Nobody called us. Our phones didn't work from 5 in the morning. The fire was not 10 o'clock when I went to work. The fire was still there. There was no water. Tell me if that's coincidence. No water, no warning. And everybody talking about the satellite city before the fire. Lahaina gonna be the first satellite city. Well, hey, Jeff Bezos, you got what you wanted. Oprah, you got what you wanted. And the guy who owns the nut, you got what you wanted. Us all over. That's what happened. Okay. We need help in Lahaina. Who's gonna come now and ask us, can I pray for you, Auntie?
Thank you.
Can I help you with your paperwork? Because all we got so far was $700, and we don't know who to call or anything. It's culturally insensitive in that zone.
Why is she mentioning Oprah? Why is she mentioning Bill Gates? Why is she mentioning Jeff Bezos? Who is this woman? Who is this woman to be mentioning these people who are prominent in the United States of America? What did they do? What really went on in Maui? I'm going to ask these questions because at a later date, I'm going to really uncover some more information on this because I have my own personal feelings towards this because my homeboy, he was over there. He was over there in Hawaii, and they was over there shooting off fireworks like everything was okay where he was at. They was over there shooting off fireworks where he was at. But come turn around on another island, you got fires and people jumping off, and the way that the fire was burning made it look like, I don't know, it made it look like California and Canada. I was saying how the trees weren't all burnt down, and certain things were burnt and certain things were not. Certain things painted blue were not burnt down, but certain things painted everything else was burnt and melted. How did these people just lose everything and then get no response, no help? I would say they was treated like the Katrina victims or worse than them, but I think they was treated almost equally. But my whole thing is, haven't we learned from the past? How come we can't help out our brothers and sisters? These people are stuck on that island, had to jump off and swim, try to find a boat, trying to find something floating like Rose in Titanic. Y'all got my people out there like Rose in Titanic, floating on the boat, floating on the woods. Pause. While y'all eat good. While Oprah and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, asked for money to assist with the rebuild, knowing that Oprah just cashed in on her situation. How's a billionaire and a multimillionaire going to be asking you, the people who ain't got no money, for money? How insensitive is that? If you come from the area, you should just be getting the money yourself anyway and giving it to your people. I don't understand, y'all. These people forget where they come from. They don't want to assist the people on their left and their right. They be like, oh, they not family. Oh, they not in the bloodline. Oh, we not going to help them. Oh, I grew up with them, but you know what I mean? They not my bloodline. Let me get money from other people so I can assist them and then use it as a tax write-off for me and my company. Come on, y'all. Y'all playing the oldest trick in the book. Oldest trick in the book. And how she show up with a camera before everything even start to go off? How she already right there in the mix? Anybody ever think about that? They embarrassed her, kicked her out, told her she couldn't be recording. She came back in after the fact, started taking pictures and stuff like that, just try to make it look like she was giving back. But it really looked like a rich person just exploiting somebody's misery for their financial income, for their financial impact. So they could look like they was giving back after they take over half the island. They not slick, man. They doing the colonizers' work. They repeating it themselves. They went from being the people who were colonized to going out here colonizing other people. Make me sick. And people look up to them. People cheer them on. People in my community, the only reason why they have power is because you put them on this pedestal. You can easily take them off this pedestal and relinquish their power. You can do it. You can. Next topic. Hey, beautiful people. It's PeaCoat Slim here. And we got some new merch out. The No Sympathy for Salary t-shirts. Make sure you pick one up. Because again, your boss cannot make you go into work because they decide to sign up for salary. You are paid by the hour. So what does that mean? They ask you, how do you feel? You feel like you have no sympathy for salary. Now back to the show. All right, folks, let's talk about it. AI. It's looking like AI, and I ain't talking about Allen Iverson. I ain't talking Andre Iguodala. I'm talking artificial intelligence. It looks like it's about to replace everything. And it looks like no one is really paying attention when it's in plain sight. Yeah, it's kind of scary, right? Imagine going to an NFL football game and seeing these AI bots walking on the sideline. Yeah, walking on the sideline, interacting, looking in y'all faces, y'all pupils, y'all eyes, y'all cell phones, all that good stuff. Imagine that. Imagine that is doing that and using facial recognition to record your face, using technology to suck the Wi-Fi information out of your phone so it knows your IP address, so it knows every website you've been on, so it knows all the things that you have typed into that phone, thoughts that you've had, visuals that have been seen on it, and everything. So it knows it. What if it decided, I don't know, to activate anytime that you were doing something said illegal, which is against the status quo, or they find illegal, which is anything against the status quo? What if this is really going on and you're not noticing it? Because why? It's in plain sight. Why? It will be cool. Why? Because it's for movie promotion. Yeah, of course. That's what they tell you. It's for movie promotion. And then on that fateful day, you get into your Tesla, your electric vehicle, that good old Moneybag Joe. Yeah, I got that from For No Fame. You know what I mean? Give him a shout out. For No Fame. I got that from For No Fame. Moneybag Joe. He decides that he's just going to, I don't know, have your Tesla take you right to the police station because they have been looking for you and you don't know they've been looking for you without a warrant, or they put a warrant on you while you're driving. Have y'all ever seen The Fifth Element? It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Y'all may want to look at that again. It almost sounds like reality. It almost sounds like what really could happen. It's really dangerous out here, people. It's really dangerous out here. But back to the story at hand. These androids, like on Dragon Ball Z, these androids decided to show up to the game, or somebody named the creator decided to bring them and had them walking on the sidelines. What if they decide to turn into the Terminator? How far are we away from the Terminator where things could just morph and change and stuff like that? Or, they could just focus in on you and then send, I don't know, one of them drones to go and get you. Again, I think Rick Ross was one of the first people I heard say out loud that what if a Tesla decided to take you straight to the police station and arrest you without your knowledge, or they decided to kidnap you if they were trying to exterminate a certain type of person? What if they did that? Everybody's so quick to switch over to these electric cars, but they forget if you switch over to an electric car, that means somebody has control. One individual, and it isn't the person driving the car. It isn't. It's unfortunate that people don't open their brain and think about this before upgrading the technology to the stuff that they have in their house, their households, their homes, their cars, at work. That Amazon, what do you call it? That Alexa that's sitting over there. Even my homegirl Siri, to an extent, she sometimes be beefing. What all I'm saying is, all in all, just be aware of what's going on. Be aware of what you're really signing up for. Be aware that there's nothing that you can do at this point. It's already done and dealt with. Now we just have to reap what they have sown. And what they have sown for us is possibly a lifetime that will end with computers running the world. Paging all Nositos. Paging all Nositos. We finally found a way to keep this train going. Go to patreon.com/Maryland Melatonin and become a Nosito, where you'll see episodes of That's It, That's All, PeaCoat on the Move, PeaCoat in the Morning, and PeaCoat Thoughts, all hosted by PeaCoat Slim. Now, these episodes are at least 20 to 30 minutes long, and it is worth the wait for them. Or you could become a day one only. That's right. Our day one onlys, they receive what? Merchandise exclusive from the Maryland Melatonin store. On today's new segment called Chewy's Got Charges, we have some interesting topic to talk about. This topic is the influencer. What is their real job? Are they influencing you to do the right things, or are they influencing you to go to jail? And what happens when they get caught up and they go to jail? Do they act like you and me, or do they start telling on A, B, C, D, and E to the FBs of I's? I don't know. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but let's go to the footages. As you can see, they were obviously robbing a Lululemon. Isn't that one of those stores where they do the leggings and I don't know, it's like female lingerie, but for fitness, low-key type stuff? Isn't that what they do? They do something like that? Well, anywho, the people in Philly felt like they could just run up in the store and take everything, because across the United States, other people have been running in the CVS's, just taking the stuff out, knowing that they wasn't going to get prosecuted, and they've been seeing it online, not realizing that this is happening in areas where there are sanctuary cities. This is happening in areas where the laws are different. This is happening in areas where the police just don't care. Well, sometimes the police gets fed up and actually does their job. What do you mean, PeaCoat? I'll tell you what I mean. In this case, the police does its job. These people were going in, they were catching them as they was coming out, pushing them, shoving them, throwing them on the ground. Over 200 people were arrested. Over 200 people were obtained as suspects. But one of them in particular caught my eye. This particular content creator. Because she always thinks everything is fun. She always thinks everything is funny. She was out there pretty much instigating the riot, according to the police. She was out there instigating the riot by telling people to go ahead and steal and encouraging them to do that as she was on live, on footage. And then when the police rolled up on them, they all got arrested. She got hit with maybe 5 to 7 different felonies. As you can see, we were smiling before with the bonnet on, with the Erykah Badu rap. all of a sudden get locked up and you go into that cell and it's tears of non-joy. Yeah, that's right. I said non-joy. Because they're supposed to be tears of joy because it's supposed to be ha ha he ha ha he. But some people ain't playing. They're not playing. You destroyed property. You were assisting people in destroying property. You were propagating people to destroy property. You were perpetuating a narrative so that people destroy property. On the scene. Not on the internet, really, but on the scene. You was out there with them. You was out there with him, cheering them on. So should you suffer the same consequences as the people who really went in there and did the crime? If you was out there with them, cheering them on, at the moment that the crime was going down, you are then a part of the crime. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. And they're going to try to jump on TV and stuff like that, looking like all types of nothing. Thank goodness her mom pulled up and was beeping the horn really loud so she didn't give no statement to the police or, to the news people that would contradict her story that she got in the court system. That would mess up her case with her lawyer. Thank goodness that ain't happened. Thank goodness. But we can step beside that. That's besides the point because we talk about influencers because I don't want to just harp on this one. Because it does turn out bad for you sometimes. Look at this guy. He was going to go up there to this man who's obviously not playing. I don't know what he was ordering, but he's not playing. You waving a phone in his face. It's saying certain different type of things. He telling you to leave him alone. So then he back out on you. Who's at fault? I tell you, the man who backed out on him ain't at fault. It was self-defense. He didn't know what you was doing. You walking up to him, harassing him after he told you to leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He back out on you. Now, he shouldn't have shot him. It shouldn't have went down like that. Again, sometimes people are not playing. Everybody wants to go be famous. Everybody wants to go viral. Everybody wants that instant gratification. You got to get out here and do the work. Do the work. Do the work. And right now, I'm doing the work for y'all. I'm reporting on these silly charges, as we call Chewy got charges. This is saved for the segment where people are doing just the most outlandish, dumb things to go to jail. New segment, Chewy got charges. Wait until next week's. Paging all Nositos. Paging all Nositos. We finally found a way to keep this train going. Go to patreon.com/Maryland Melatonin and become a Nosito where you'll see episodes of That's It, That's All, PeaCoat on the Move, PeaCoat in the Morning, and PeaCoat Thoughts, all hosted by PeaCoat Slim. Now, these episodes are at least 20 to 30 minutes long, and it is worth the wait for them. Or you could become a day one only. That's right. Our day one onlys, they receive what? Merchandise exclusive from the Maryland Melatonin store. Imagine creating something so detrimental to a particular community that it broke up the nuclear family. It kept the father from being in the household. It kept the men from being around to stop boys from being boys and to turn them into men. Imagine being responsible for that, for a whole particular community. And then years later, convincing that community that you're the best thing for them. That if you're not in that community, then you're not going to vote for him. Imagine being told that you're not black enough to be with or to vote for anything, to use your intelligence, period. Imagine being told that. And then come turn around, this same individual is selling secrets or is caught in the pay-for-play system and hasn't given you a dime for assisting him into getting to office. This sounds like probably every president that has ever been since I've been alive. This probably does. But today we're focusing in on one. The one, the only, Joe Biden and his crime family. Now, some people say don't hurl insults or accusations without proof. And I'm not going to hurl accusations without proof. I'm going to let this man tell it.
What actual evidence do you have as opposed to allegations to show to the American public that would merit an actual impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden and prove that today isn't just about some of you?
Oh, I don't know.
McCarthy for the sake of enacting political revenge.
This isn't about political revenge. We have the bank accounts. We can see, ma'am, you can see that the homes that the Bidens own can't be afforded on a congressional or Senate salary. You also understand that it's not normal for family members to receive millions of dollars from overseas interests. Those things aren't normal. That's not normal to have 20 shell companies. These things are not normal, and it alludes to not only just widespread corruption, but money laundering, if not influence peddling itself. And we also have the president, or the vice president at the time, on record saying that the prosecutor was fired. Well, son of a bitch, the prosecutor was fired.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Right? Because the prosecutor was going after the company that his son was working on. That's what we have. If you can't see that, if you are that blunt, look, I'll turn it over to the attorneys.
People can't see that. They think it's political revenge.
It's because you don't report on it.
You're not, reporting on it today.
I'm not sure how you know what the American people think, but here's what they might wonder.
Now, it's clear that he just said that based off of the bank accounts, there's no way that he can own these homes on a senator's salary, on a vice president's salary. It's not normal for his family members to receive millions in foreign interest or from foreign assets if they don't have any type of foreign footprint over in that country. Not normal to have over 20 different shell companies. And to top it off, it's not normal to be so arrogant that you go on TV and you say the following: oh, well, I told them if they're not going to play by our rules and if they don't fire their prosecutor, then they're not getting X amount of dollars. And then, goddamn, they fired their prosecutor, so then I sent them the money. If that right there, if not anything, is not pay for play and admitting to it live, I don't know what is. And I'll say it's pay for play. Why? Because everybody keeps forgetting that his son was on the board of the people who were being investigated by that prosecutor. All of a sudden, the case was dropped. They get paid. That sounds like a payment to stop investigating me. That sounds like a payoff with United States tax dollars. Now, I have to ask you, United States people, did you sign up for this? Maybe they paid them off. Why? Because they knew about the laptop too. Or they know about other things these people have done and they're keeping the secrets. Are you wondering why that little country with the blue and the yellow keep getting all that money from the red, white, and blue? Maybe they got secrets on people. Maybe they know a little bit more than they leading on to. Because if you ask me personally, somebody out here should be getting charges. Chewy should be getting charges. We should be giving out charges immediately. Immediately. Again, you got the only crackhead. Son of the crackhead. Crackhead. The only one running free right now. Why his dealer's in jail. He did the same thing Kodak did, low-key, by lying on an application, unknowingly, They didn't care when the skin was chocolate. Why should they care that it's cream? All I'm saying is, end of the day, your boy Moneybag Joe's son should be locked up. Your boy Moneybag Joe should be going to jail too as soon as his term is done. Or if he passes away. I don't know. Whichever one comes first. But he should be going to jail. Because there's no way that the Hunter Biden laptop is true. Joe has been manipulating behind the scenes without knowing he manipulated behind the scenes with Mr. Biden, Hunter. And they got 20 different shell companies where a lot of their family members are getting paid millions. You got text messages saying that they gonna bring your dad in or Pop. They gonna bring him in without him knowing, so he can have plausible deniability. This is what they saying from what I'm reading. It ain't saying that 100%, but this is what it's saying. It's setting it up for that, so that he can always have plausible deniability. But guess what? I know somebody, or I know of somebody who did a crime, and they were living in their dad's house, and the police came and raided the house, and the father wound up going to jail because it was his house. Even though it was the son's stuff, it was his house. The father went to jail. The son walked scot-free. I'm saying that because from what I'm hearing, the address for the payments or the address for everything to go to was Mr. Joe Biden's home. Now, Hunter's a grown man. He's been a grown man for a long time. He has his own residence. He should. But for him to send it to the home means that everything was hunky-dory. Because if it wasn't hunky-dory, my homeboy's people should be out of jail right now because he had nothing to do with nothing. And he got locked up. He just happened to be chocolate. But the cream dude right here who sits here and hides classified documents in his garage, he ain't in jail. Why is that? Why is that? Receiving millions, going to his house, and his address is used as the address to receive the funds. He should be in jail. He's working with them, or they're working with him. Because sometimes you can tell he's not always all there, but they know how to manipulate him. But then in the text messages, it says, I'm not going to make you give me X amount of dollars like Pop. Who's Pop? Who's Pop? Not Smoke, but I digress.
Yep, PeaCoat, slip. PeaCoat, slip. PeaCoat, slip. Yep. All I do is win.